Good morning, my friends. Is this stream running or not? Just let me check. I need to check if everything is all right. Okay, I will check the sound. Okay, so it all looks good. So welcome to today's stream, right? So we will continue in what we've been doing yesterday, and we will see if we will find something interesting, right? So as usually, every morning, I'm starting with the dollar, where we are actually right now at this moment, right? So what I'm seeing in here is basically on the higher time frame, I'm still expecting price going higher, right, into this weekly CLS range, right, into these highs. This is where I think that the dollar is going based on my analysis and also based on the COT data and also based on the seasonal tendencies, right? So we should be looking mainly for the long trades, right? If you remember yesterday, I had the long, the trade was not from yesterday, but it was taken earlier in here, right? So we just had the trade, right? So at this moment, the biggest stupidity would be to try to catch another trade immediately from here, right? We need to give a time to the market to breathe, right? So, and to form some nice setup. Also, if you remember, very important rules, I am still repeating it to my students, right? We have a CLS range, this purple one, right? That's a low and high, right? Currently, we most likely going from this low to this high, right? And here is a 50% of that range, right? So, my rules are simply this, and I will write them here, and you can write them too, because it will save you money or make you money, right? So it's never sell low, right? Also, never buy highs, right? Buy lows, sell highs, right? So basically, I want to be only buying lows after the manipulation, selling the highs, right? I never want to be selling here or buying here, right? But currently, at the current situation, fuck me. All right. On the current situation, as we are here in the 50% of that range, right? There is the last thing, and it's called don't play around 50%, right? Why? Because it's low probability in here, right? What can happen? Basically, price could go higher, we could be right? But of course, it can also make a pullback in here, right? So if you're playing around a 50%, what would you be doing, right? Where would you be entering, right? Looking for the long in here, but look at this room which you have below you, right? Where would you put stop loss, right? Here, to take a trade like this, it's not good probability, right? Of course, you can go lower time frame, and you can. This is because this is 4 hour. Of course, you can go lower time frame, right, and try to form your trade from the lower time frame in here, right, after taking some liquidity in here, then for the continuation. But still, for me, it's all lower probability, right? So what we are doing at this moment, what we could do, right? Because also we can play lower time frames, right? Even though we are in the higher time frame, we can also play lower time frames, right? So what we can see here, always marking up a daily range, right? So daily range is this, from yesterday's low to the yesterday's highs, right? daily, right? So that's the daily range in here, this one. Also, we have the 4 hours range in here. If you look to the 4 hours range, 4 hours range actually was manipulated and price is now closing inside the range, but it didn't close below the last up candle, right? It didn't close below in here, right? Once it closed below this one, then that could be a signal that the price most likely could retrace where, right? To this low, yes, but the first level would be this 50% of this range, right? That's how you play, right? So that's something what I'm considering to trade. And if you look to the euro, right, it looks similar, right? So in here we have our weekly range, right? This one, this purple is a weekly range, right? And remember, you never buy high, right? If you buy here, you would be wrecked, right? You never sell low. You probably don't want to be selling in here. Why? Because look, what was happening here? Consolidation, manipulation, right? And then price expanding, right? So in here will be orders which will most likely bounce it, right? So that's what we're waiting for, right? But obviously I do not want to do a live streams to tell you, okay, we're gonna wait next week, bye-bye for now, right? So obviously I want to explain as much as I can and try to find something what might we could trade on the lower time frame also, right? Because we can obviously do that, right? So here is what is playing on the lower time frame, right? Could we take a trade from here? Let's dissect it if we can, right? Look. Here is a daily, right? We have this dealing range, right? Dealing range measuring from the liquidity sweep to the highs, right? So price basically dipped into the liquidity, into the 50% of that, right? Then if you go lower time frame, did it take our transition candle? Yes, it took it on the 4 hours, right? And it actually did it with the nice big candle, right, which we can analyze as a CLS candle also, right? So there is a potential that the price could do a pullback because here is a few more factors, right? We have a 50% of the higher time frame range, right? We are in the discount. We are actually on the order block, which is actually not that strong as this one, right? This one is much stronger than this one, right? But this one also has made some break, right? It has made the break of the structure in here, right? So it could be considered as a order block. However, the stronger order block is the one which is taking a liquidity, not just this one, right? Let me explain you in here, right? This is the definition of the order block. So basically we need to see a displacement, right? We need to see a sharp move in here, right? That's great when there is a fair value gaps, right? Or the gaps or imbalances, whatever you call it. And then also if it dips into the liquidity, right? Like in here, right? Below some lows, right? Because that's where it has created some, good morning, Dean. That's where it has created some orders, right, and trapped the traders into the wrong side of the trade, and that's the reason to move price higher, right? You can screenshot this, and obviously here is the most important thing, right? Best order blocks are formed after the stop hunt, liquidity grabs, liquidity sweeps, right? Whatever we call it, right? And then we're looking for the price to go higher, right? So we can see that has happened in here. I think that's a daily order block, right? Yes, we can see, right? So here is, or maybe 2 days. Where did I measure it from? Right? On the weekly, right? So that's a weekly order block, right? So we have a down candle, then liquidity sweep in here, right? Swing low created, price expanding strongly, right? On the 4 hours, you can go lower time frame, actually daily maybe, right? You can see these consecutive candles. Where is this order block the strongest? The strongest level of this order block is obviously, if you measure it like this, all these down candles, right? In the 50% of that, right? However, you need to be ready already in here, because from the weekly, the candle starts here, right? It's good to have the both levels, right, like that. And yeah, it will be strong in here, but maybe there could be a pullback in here, right? So let's go to the 4 hours and let's dissect what's going on in here, right? We have also the order block, we are in the discount, we have a 4-hour CLS range, right? Price manipulated, now it's closing inside, right? And we can see probably a pullback and move into this 50%, right? So it could be a potential situation for a trade higher, right? However, look again, right, where we are now. Is this good risk reward, right? No, it's not. You would not trade this, right? What would you trade? You would like to see basically a trade from a, you need to go lower time frame, right? Here is how it is playing out, right? And we have this order block created on the M15 in here. You can see prices trading a little bit above it, right? Creating these multiple highs, multiple equal lows, right? So I do think that I would be interested to trade lower, right? Where from? Look, now I want to show you something. We are actually finding our order block in here on the lower time frame. It's all of these consecutive candles, right? All of these ones, right? That's what creating our order block. And I will do a background, for example, the green, and I will make it like this. So you see them better. I will remove this thing. Actually, I can leave it in here, right? Then the price started to move higher. And then when you find these candles, right, I call this as a build up, right? That's where they are building again the position for the breakout, right? So you have this order block in here, and then you can go deeper into it, right? So in my opinion, in here could be a nice level for trading higher, right? And also, actually the midpoint of this order block in this fair value gap, right? So that's what I would be watching for today. If I get a pullback down here, right, and then obviously I need to see again same things happening on the lower time frames, right? So what we are actually trying to do in here, right, we have a 4 hours, we have a manipulation, we have a close inside on the M15 in here, right? Let me draw it, right? And it's creating already the order block, right? Changing the order flow. So price could go where? Those who shorted in here, right? Remember thinking of what the others are doing, where they put stop losses here, right? Here, right? So then the price could easily reach these two levels, right? That's making sense, right? But what we want to see, we want to see a better entry, right? Would not enter in here. So where I would be looking for the better entry, maybe this level, right, or this level, right? So that would be my zone where I would be interested, right, to trade. So what does it mean right now? Does it mean I'm going just to set up a buy limit in here, right? Like this, that trade already makes more sense, right? It's a 2.5 R, right? So if we get this pullback, then that would be nice, right? So let's see if we will get it. Let's check what the dollar index is doing, right? For the correlation. Right, remember, on the dollar index, we still need to see the close below this candle, below this 4-hour candle, right? That would be our confirmation. On the M15, is it already playing, right? Yes, it's playing in here, right? So on M15, we can see also, look, these up candles. I'm not counting this small doji, right? It did nothing, but look here. These all consecutive up candles, right? They've been moving higher. This is where it created order block, right? Why? Because we dipped into this liquidity, right? So it's an order block which is dipping into the liquidity, right? and now price moving higher. So what could potentially happen, right? What's going to happen in here, right? The traders will do what? Once the price break this low in here, they will probably start to short, right? And now is the question, are we going to get this, right? And then this. If that's going to happen here on the dollar index, then we're going to get something like this on the euro, right? So that's what I see on the charts currently. I'm going to set up my alarm in here, right? And I'm basically done for the euro, right? Just waiting if I need to do day trading, right? Obviously, on the higher time frame, which I would say that is my main discipline, I would wait a bit. All right, let me show you. So we're waiting for right now. Let's check pound. What's happening on the pound, right? Now, why I'm watching the pound, euro, and the dollar, right? Because these three are actually in highest correlations, right? So when I'm seeing something on the euro, I would like to see exact opposite on the pound, on the dollar, and something quite similar on the pound, right? Sometimes they are a little bit disconnected, but at least they should move the same direction, right? And now it seems like a pound is a little bit leading, right? So that's a good sign. We can see that the pound is showing us that it could probably started to be happening, right? We can see here, right? So we had this 4 hours dip below, right? Then price has closed above this 1 hour, right? It has created nice order block in here, right? So the pound was ready, right? When it then pulled back, right? I think it would be somewhere around a midpoint of this. Let's check it, right? So you see, if we change the colors here in the midpoint, right? You see somewhere in here around a midpoint of this order block, they started to move the price higher, right? So when the order block creates something like that, you don't want to be entering just in here, right? Especially when you have such a small level to trade it, right? And of course you could do something like this, right? And it would not be that bad trade, right? However, like this, right? To that 50%, you would get 2.55 RR, right? Which is quite good. However, when it was, right, 8 o'clock, right, yesterday, that's the time when I was with my daughter, right, putting her into the bed. So you cannot catch everything, right? Obviously. Right, euro is still lagging a little bit. Pound is already moving, right? What the Japanese yen is doing. Right, in here, Japanese yen is actually leading from these four, right? We don't need this anymore because I have already put my trades into the journal, so I actually don't need my old drawings, right? Remember, when you're doing some drawings, when you're drawing your trades, and these things, then you need to update the charts. As I did yesterday, I did a copy of my charts, right? So right now I can actually see my initial charts, and basically I will do open layout, right? And it's this one, right? So here was the initial charts with the all trades, right? See, but I don't need them anymore, right? So these ones I can delete because why? Because I have put everything into the journal, right? All of my trades, everything is journaled, right? The reason all the things. So when I have it in my journal, I can repeat it next time, right? That's the point why we journaling, because we're learning from the success and also we avoiding the mistakes which we did, right? So right now, here is the JPY, USD JPY, right? Overall, in my opinion, it's bearish on the higher time frame, right? If you look to the weekly, I would be surprised if we go up from here. I think that we will most likely break lower, right? Based on how was this liquidity, these two highs created, right? Then the price ran above it, break this structure here, retest, right? Now we are here, right? Look how they actually left. We can actually delete everything here, right? Look how they actually left this kind of a, right? Again, double bottom, right? Double bottom, right? Bullish setup for the less informed traders, right? So what they gonna do? Once they will see some breakout, when they will get some kind of a signal for going long, that will create a bigger stop loss cluster in here, and that's once they start to take the price lower, right? So what could be a signal for the less informed traders, right? Maybe break of the trend line, right? You see the trend line is being broken, right? That's the time to take a long for them, right? Not for us. So also, are we getting in some interesting level, right? Yes, this is a level. However, where I would find my level, remember, the order block has to break through some lows, right? So here is the lows, look, right? This order block, these three up candles, they didn't break through anything significant, right? So the break was here. Look, the break was coming from here, right? So maybe the level would be here, right? Let me check on the lower time frame. Right, you see it makes sense, right? Here is the break. So where it is coming from? From here, right? So we could see a pullback up to this level, right? This is where it all started, in my opinion. Now let's get some more confirmations, right? So what if we put this, right? We can see dealing range, right? Let's go weekly. Right, and what we're looking for, if you remember, let me delete this trend line. If you remember, as I was saying about that transition candle, right? The candle which is taking us from the discount to the premium or from the premium to the discount, right? This one, right? You remember that the liquidity is mostly above this candle or below, right? So you see how we connecting the pieces and it's starting to make a sense, right? Look, right? That would be our level in here from the daily, right? This up candle that make the force to break through this level, right? And this is our liquidity. And if you look at it this way again, what is here? Right? Double top, right? So what they gonna play right now in here? Look, double top, double bottom, double top, right? So what I do think we need for the continuation up in here, we need to go lower time frame, and then once we get some false break in here, right, then we will see run above these two highs, right? So I do not want to confuse you with the hello. Let's make some preface. Hey guys, right? So I do not want to confuse you with these trend lines, right? I'm not using them like for the trading, but what helps me is to understand where probably could be a next level, right? So Yeah, that's what I'm looking for on the higher time frame, right? And in here, I would probably be looking for shorts, right? Because if you remember, let me show you in the Discord, and if we go into the seasonals, right, we can see that the dollar index in the May is strong, right? But then it starts to drop, right? Let's check the USD JPY. It's going to be some kind of probably the opposite, right? Look. The May is a little bit weaker and June getting stronger, right? So look how it start to make sense, right? So we can see this is weekly, right? We are, what's the day today? It's a 13, right? So we got probably another 2 weeks of the strong dollar, right? So that could be possibly another 2 strong candles, right? Then obviously it's not gonna play immediately, but then after a 2 week candle, dollar starts to weakening. It's of course not a rule, it's just a probability based on the seasonals, right? But also the Japanese yen starts to strengthening, right? So maybe we could start to get the pullback in here, right? So we will see what's gonna be happening here, right? It's making a sense to me. Now let's check a COT data, right? That's gonna be something similar also, right? I do not want to do this, so let's go free. And we actually have the USD JPY data here, so let's check them. Right, let me show you. Look, here is the USD JPY. So this is actually the Japanese yen, right? So Japanese yen getting stronger, 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 right? You see how strong it is right now. However, we are in the pullback, right? Same thing here, right? Euro, strong, 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 but we are in the pullback. But these longs has to be closed somewhere in the highs. Same as these shorts. This is shorts. This is Japanese yen, right? So this is longs on the Japanese yen. So it's actually the shorts on the USD JPY, right? If you look to the Japanese yen and they have longs, they basically speculating that the price will go lower. And look how big positions they got here, right? So where they will close them. Where would you close if you still own such a big positions, right? Look at this. Last 4 weeks, they still increasing it, right? They still increasing it. So where they will be closing them? Do you think they will be closing them in here? No. If they building the longs, that means they building the shorts on the USD JPY, they will close them here, below this low, right? That's where will be liquidity, right? This is why I think this is going to play, right? And it all makes sense with the price action because we will be selling where in the premium, right? We have also the level which broke through this, right? We're gonna be above this nice liquidity, right? It's also in confluence with the time, right? Maybe in the next 2 weeks, right? Maybe next 2-3 weeks, right? And then we're getting sell, right? Also in confluence with what? With this, right? Japanese yen getting stronger June, July, right? For the rest of the year could be stronger, right? So this all could play out, and it all giving us indices that this is probably what could play in here, right? Can you help us with precise entry in any of these pairs, right? Yes, the precise entry, of course, my friends. We're looking for the precise entry. However, as I told you, look what's going on in here, right? That's what we're looking for here. That's what we're looking for on the intraday, right? On the euro. If it drops down here, then we need to go lower time frame, and on the lower time frame we will be looking for the change in the order flow and then price going up here, right? That's the possibility. So that's only what I see currently, right? Same thing on the pound, but pound is already playing. If you came later to the stream, that's what we didn't catch in here, right? But if this is playing on the pound, then most likely the euro will follow, right? Now is the question, will it give us this pullback for display, or it will go up, right? If it will go up like this, then I'm not interested in a trade. If we get this pullback, right, something like this maybe, it seems like it's going right, then we will enter and we will have a intraday trade. If not, and it makes a pullback, then we will be looking for what, right? Remember, we still think the price is going lower, right? We still think price is going lower down here, right, into this weekly order block. That's what is our main trade, right? That's what we should be trading, right? However, right now we are in this 50%. This is not where we want to play, where we want to do anything. We could do this daily intraday thing, right? But higher probability would be trading short, right? Trading short at this moment. And then later, it would be again, in my opinion, after these 2 weeks, you can see how it looks like it could be 2 candles, right? Then it would be from here, the long again. Because why? Again, look at the Utilita. We can see they have huge longs, right? Where these longs will be closed. When they adding them for the last 4 weeks, right? Where they will be closing them? Above these highs, right? Above this high. That would be going higher again, in my opinion. Right? So this is all we can play right now. Let's go check, meanwhile, when nothing is happening in here, let's go check some other pairs if we will find something. If you guys have something. I caught the pound right at the Asia opening, at the amazing Adrian. Amazing. Yeah, the pound looks good. Okay, so let's look something else what we can do, right? Here's actually something I'm looking for on the Bitcoin, right? So again, we had this past trade, right? It has reached these highs of that CLS range which we had from the monthly, and I think we're gonna have a continuation, right? And the Bitcoin is getting into the stage where it's not going to be giving a much chances for the pullbacks, right? That's going into this stage where will not be that beautiful structure, right, which you can see on the Forex, right? It will be this not ugly pumps. Obviously, if you're holding some nice spot positions, that would be nice. But I think it's going to be going simply higher, right, without that big pullbacks, right? So what I see in here at this moment, look, we can see again we have some quite relatively equal highs, right? That's something what always get my attention, right? So that's double top, right? That's what makes people think, all right, we might be rejected in here, right? If you watch the analysis on the trading, what the traders are doing, they constantly wrong, right, about this thing. Many people still using this pattern, and I don't understand it, right? So right now we know where the price is most likely going, right? That would not be much wise to be shorting here and hoping that the price will not reach this level, right? If the price reach this level and then it makes some significant reversal candle, right, then shorting would make sense, right? But doing it in here, it's like provocating the lion and hoping that he's not gonna kill you, right? So we know price going here. Now how we gonna enter, right? Look at this candle, right? How did it close? It closed below this candle, below this one, right? So where is liquidity right now? Right, it has closed below this one, right? And it's quite a big candle, right? So we can use it as our CLS, right? So where's the liquidity now? Where are we gonna be trading from? Write me. Let me know in the chat, guys. I'm waiting. Exactly. Below the previous daily low. Nice, Martin. Look here. Um, I'll show you here, right? So when you have a candle, price sweep the highs and close inside, then you have the liquidity here on these lows, right? If the another candle creates and close below, then you have liquidity again below it, right? And for the continuation, if the candles are closing above, you have liquidity above, right? So this is the case which we have on the charts right now, right? So let me show you. So the candle has closed below, right? So where is the liquidity now? Here, right? So if we want to trade long, what we need to wait? We need to wait for price to go below here and close inside, right? Then where's gonna be liquidity? Above, right? Above what? Above probably some candle which did the things in here, but also we know that in here, right? Because what's gonna happen here, right? At this moment, probably some traders will start to short, right? And for us, will be a signal that they've been catched in the short and price closed inside the range with making a right order block on the lower time frame, right? So on the day, if we have daily range, it would be on the 1 hour, right? So this trick which we see in here, this pin bar, it's a catch for those who are gonna enter in here, and price will most likely drop lower, right? We also need to find a key level in here, right? So what is here, right? Let me show you. I have measured my dealing range from this low because on the daily we can see here was some kind of manipulation, right? We have these down candles and price rejected them in here, right? So from here, I'm drawing my dealing range, right? Then going lower time frame, and here I'm finding my transition candle, the candle that took us from the discount to the premium, right? That's where I'm looking for a liquidity, right? That's where I would be trading from the key level below, right? So which one is it? Is this one, right? This. If I go higher time frame, it would be this daily order block, right? If I go 4 hours, we have some consecutive candles in here, and it's kind of, you see, in the confluence with this level, right? So that's where I would like to form my trade, and I think this could happen, right? Something like that, and we should be safe below this level, right? So this is kind of a trade I'm looking for on the Bitcoin. That's obviously probably not gonna fill us right now, right? So what's the euro doing, right? We see it's going lower. What's the time? It's 10 o'clock, right? It's already CLS time, right? Where was the 10? Here. Right? In these 15 minutes, around this time, if there will be created this low, it will give us a higher probability low, right? Because it's also in the confluence with this, right? Here at 10 o'clock, Asia Pacific funding target completed, right? So basically what is this? This is a CLS operational timeline, right? Since the last night, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock this morning, they've been preparing what they're gonna play out today, right? Today at 10 o'clock, right now, they start actually around this 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, they started to do the payments, right? So during the night, the CL has been doing the orders. Now they're starting to do payments, and around at 10 o'clock, they are ready to move, right? Right, so they've been in here. You can look at it this way, from 10 o'clock, right? From here, they've been collecting the orders in here, right? In here, they've been saying all those participants in the CLS, which are quite big fishes, which are these ones, right? Right? Big banks, all of them are participants of the CLS. They've been saying to the CLS what they want to do next day, right? So in here, from the 10 till now, they've been collecting the orders. In here, they provided the payments, right? So now the CLS will start to execute what is not on their book into the markets, and they will be doing what? They will be looking for the liquidity, which is here, right? Below these lows, right? This is important that this happened, that the price started to move higher in here, right? In here. It created this false break, right? It sucked the traders inside, right? And we want to see the price drop lower, right? Where is actually also great level, and used to be using it for the day trading quite often, is if you measure from here to 9, and you measure the possible highs. What is it? Highs, right? Right? The midpoint of their operation could be also a level, right? So I think that down here, this is where we would be, where we would like to trade, but we will see. And again, we have our alarm. We will see if the price goes there, right? What's the pound doing, right? Pound is also creating a pullback, right? A little bit tipped above these highs, right? Just a little bit. Here is a DXY, right? I would like to have alarm also if this level is reached, because sometimes happens that the dollar index actually comes into the level, right, into the some level, and then it starts move, and the euro is actually not on the level, right? But you can take a trade because the dollar index is leading, right? So we will see what's going on in here. Oh, I actually deleted all the drawings on the USD/JPY. Yeah, because I've been explaining actually this higher time frame in here, right? So that's what we can do. That's what we can do later. We don't need this right now. Right, and again, what we have here. So yeah, we can say that this candle could be counted as a CLS, right? We can see a manipulation, we can see close inside in here, but we don't see it trading from a level, right? Let me find out if it's actually from a level. It's above these highs. No, I wouldn't consider this as a level in here, right? Maybe that can happen during the New York, we will see. Okay, so we don't need to see, watch this. Did you see Solana? It beautifully also reached this monthly range, right? How nicely it has played this monthly. Right, so we have monthly range, manipulation, entry, exactly into the highs, right? Now you do what? Now again, you don't want to be trading in here, right? You want to be trading lower. This is Dogecoin. Right, this one looks quite good. Maybe for some intraday trades, we have the push higher, right? Then candle is taking the high, closing inside, right? So the liquidity is below. The next one is taking it, closing inside, right? Another one taking it, closing inside, right? So that's might could be a signs that that could continue from here, right? But the level is it's not at least on some level in here, not even in here, right? So I would wait here also. If I have to, I would wait for the level here. Okay, so what's going on, euro? Give us a trade. Right, there is a situations when the price action is not that clear, not doing the things right. Um, you know, it's if you look to the higher time frame, right, like this, it should be right. So what you basically do, you are basically you are basically bearish. The price is coming to these lows, right? So but you don't want to sell here, right? You need to wait for the price to come at least above these 4 hours, right? Or maybe even up here, right, to sell it, right? So it's early to short, right? Then when you go lower time frame, and it feels like it's if you didn't catch it in here, right, it feels like it's late to buy, right? Because you should buy, you obviously cannot catch everything, right? You could buy here, right? So it's like a late to buy, right? Late to buy, or maybe early if it gives a pullback, right? But you are kind of in the mid of early to short, late to buy, right? And you feel like frustrated, right? But it's absolutely fine. You need to get comfortable with these situations and don't do any bullshits just for the sake of the trading, just because you want to open a trade today, right? So that's actually the main mistakes which traders are doing, because they think I need to trade today, I need to find a setup today, I need to make money because it's my job, and I'm going to the work, so I actually have to work, right? And it's actually not completely right? You need to be ready to sit on your hands, maybe for the half of the week. Sometimes you don't trade even the whole week. But in the day trading and the lower time frames, it also doesn't mean day trading also doesn't mean trading every day, right? We will see if we get something in here, right? I used to trade the day trades a lot, but to be honest, I'm finding more stability and feel more comfortable in swing trades, right? Because why? If I'm day trading, right, and I can show you here on the Solana, right, what I actually did the mistake in here, right? Look, here was a setup, right? I had a trade in here somewhere, sorry, basically I entered in here, right, and I exited in here, well, basically with the stop loss somewhere around like that, right, which is nice trade, right? But then I was trying to catch the trade in here, but it didn't pull back down enough, right? And now, you know, thinking, right, all right, what I'm gonna do now, right? And look, I actually missed the half of this, right? But I didn't do this mistake on the Bitcoin, and even though I had some scalping trades, I had also one trade which I was able to hold the whole range, right? So this was actually the short, but in here I was actually able to hold this whole monthly range trade, right? And it's more comfortable to do this, to enter in here and wait for 1 month instead of trying to catch a little bit, you know, then looking for how to enter again. You enter the FOMO, you're gonna get stopped out, right? Then you miss the trade, then you catch one, right? And in the end, you will have one loss, you know, two wins maybe, and some trades you miss, right? And you will make much less than was your real potential, right? And obviously I'm not saying about catching the whole ranges, but if you just following two models, right, you can catch a 50%, right? And then from the pullback, the whole range, right? And then you actually trading like a half of the range and then like a two-thirds of the range, right? So you catch much more, right? And if you do the day trading in here, you know, you would be maybe entering here, exiting here, and you know, then you do what? Then you enter the short in here, targeting this low. They will take you out in here, you know. Then you maybe not catch it in here. Then you try another short in here, and you're gonna have a lot of work, a lot of time, stress, you know, instead of being calm down, waiting for the setups, right? Yes, please, which pair are you analyzing? Bitcoin is crazy when it wants to. Yes, good morning, guys. Yeah, which coin? Look here in the wherever I'm on any charts, here in the corner, you always can see what I'm analyzing and what time frame I'm on, right? So that's where you can see the coin or the or the pair, right? So what's doing the euro? It seems like it's dropping a little bit, right? It's actually it seems quite nice for the short, maybe shorting into this low, right? Right, watching this one. Right, if we look to 1 hour on the dollar index, we can see that we have these consecutive candles in here, right? Let me remove this. And we still didn't break this. This was too highs. We still didn't break this one. On the M15, we have the breakdown here. This could be yeah, we will see what the dollar index is going to do in here, right? If we're gonna get into this short in here or not. Is there actually any news today? All right, there's gonna be some news. CPI for, okay. So there's a news in the New York session. So what else we could look for? We could look actually the Ethereum to try to do a bigger time frame analysis. You see, right? We have a 3 months range, right? Price manipulated into the levels. What was actually my levels in here? I think I counted it like this level and this build up in here. Yeah. And on the daily, started to move higher, right? So I think that Ethereum has a now nice potential, even though I quite don't like this coin, like a, you know, I don't like much these shit coins, but I think this one has a potential because this is what actually already has played on the Bitcoin, right? And Ethereum, Link, Doge, all of them are going to play this also, right? So there will be just some pullback, and I think all of them has a huge potential for this run up, right? Also on the Link and the Ethereum, right? And H bar. Not sure why I don't have my wrench in here, but I think it's coming from here, right? We have this, right? See, price just closed above these down close candles, right? We can see that the candles are closing above, right? So this one didn't close above. So if it sweep this liquidity, then we're going higher, right? In here. Also has a fair value gap, right? So in my opinion, this could be a nice potential for the trade in here. Right, if you want to have a level a little bit more precise, that would be this one, right? Because we were doing what here? We're taking the liquidity in here, right? Then we also can add this. Right, you see this transition candle maybe on the 4 hours even better, right? This one, right? So where would be liquidity? Here, right? Which is in confluence with this fair value gap, right? Then go back here, and this is like a higher time frame level, right? So I want to do it like this and a little bit like that, right? So I know it is in there, but the better one would be here, right? So I basically know that I'm trading in the higher time frame level and in below my transition candle and looking for that level, right? So that's it in here, right? I see that the euro is still dropping lower, which looks good, right? Now the question would be, right, are we going to take a trade in here, right? Because it's a 4-hour CLS range. But remember, the Monday range is very powerful, and if we draw a Monday range, the Monday range would be like this, right? Which is even lower, right? And then if you also look to this level, now we are looking for some level which we just created in here, this 4 hour which didn't take anything. And if you look to the daily, right, we have this down candle, right, and we have also the gap in here which is taking this low in here, right? So this level even would be a little bit better, right? So now you need to think, am I going to trade from the 4 hours when there is a previous daily low below it, right? tricky things on the day trading, right? I'm personally actually thinking that I would not. I would prefer to wait for the daily range, below the daily range, right? That's how it works better for me. Because also, if we put it into the context with the news, look, there is a news on the New York session, right? 14:30. So that's gonna be when? It's gonna be somewhere here, right? We actually can see the news. Right here. This is some economic and sentiment, right? So here we have these news, right? It's gonna be here, right? So what you gonna do? Are you gonna speculate now in the London session for this, right? Or you gonna wait for the news to dip below the Monday's low into the better level and then trade from there, right? I think that would be maybe a case, right? So if that would be a case, and we want to really force a trade, and maybe we have this is actually the Asian range, we have the manipulation above it, right? Let's go lower time frame and let's check if the price is closing below in here, right? So on the M5 we can see here would be a order block, right? Price retested, and then maybe we could see a price dropping to these lows, right? That would make sense to me actually, because we have this previous day low, price is forcing lower, right? Same case on the dollar index, right? So I would actually maybe take a short in the London, right, and then long in the New York session, right? That would, if I think about it this way, that what makes more sense to me. Good morning, Ahmed, my friend. So let's see how it's going to develop in the next 30 minutes. And either way, we can take a short, right? If we get some kind of a pullback in it, we might need to go lower time frame even here. Good morning, Edward. So what you trading, guys? What are you having some trades? Let me know right now. This one up. Great to hear that. Nice, Dean. Nice, Edward. Still holding, right? Perfect. Marco also still holding short. Amazing. All right, I think I will try this short with maybe some small lot, right? Because I think that it's overall still like a bearish, sorry. I think I might be, now it's closing below these two. Right, so I will wait once this candle, how this candle is going to close. So it's closing in 5 minutes. We would really need to check the volume in here on the futures, right? That's something what I'm working on, and I need to set up my Ninja Trader, and it will help me with knowing the real volume in here. Actually, you can check the volume. You can check the tick volume, right? And actually, when I'm using these Saxo charts, they don't provide the volume. They have the best charts, but they don't provide the volume, right? So I need to go FXCM, right? And now I can check a volume in here. right? Hello, can you hear me now? Hello, hello. All right. Yeah, because probably battery in this has is gone, right? So we will see. Okay, guys. Where's the dollar index? So let's look what was actually the time in here on the dollar index from the 8 building positions, right? All right, my friends, have in your mind that this is basically an intraday trade, which we kind of, um I would say, I don't want to say like a forced, right? But we've been really like looking to get some trade, right? And it's very difficult to decide that you come to the charts and today you're gonna take a trade, right? We obviously focusing more on the hard time frames, and this is something what I think could play in here, right? So we will see how it goes. And I will need to stop a stream in the 10 minutes, but I will post this trade into the Discord, and then we will see how it end up, right? And what I'm going to do on my side, I will obviously be closing some partial in here on this 4-hour CLS range, right? Which is basically here, right? So if the price reaches this level, I will close some part, right? And also in here, right? And then maybe uh, later today, New York session, right? Remember, we have this purple range, which is a daily range. Then maybe from there would be possible to take a long, right? Into the 50% of this range, right? But this is kind of these day trading actions, right? Which are, in my opinion, lower probabilities. What I would do, where I would go with the bigger lots with the proper setup on some pullback, right? On some pullback, that's where I would be interested to trade the something what I know where I feel comfortable, right? And what I really like to do. Okay, so now we can watch the trade for the another 10 minutes. We will see where it will goes, right? And yeah, then we're gonna end it up for today. So I hope, yeah, good, right? So I hope that you at least learning something, and it's somehow useful, right? So that's how you should take these streams for your improvement instead of trying to come here and make it as easy way to get signal or something like that, which is not meant to be like that, right? So we can see trade is now going against up. All right. What's the pound doing, right? Pound seems like it has reached these highs, right? Maybe it will reverse it in here, right? We can see. This up candle not closing right below it, right? Maybe we entered just exact low, right? So I will be waiting for the closure of trading today and enter early Wednesday. By the time I would have known the positioning of the smart money. Yeah. That's also the way, right? Definitely for me, I like to trade the Monday range, right? And trading during the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays. That's mostly when the low and the high of the weeks are created, right? Right now, as we shorting this low in here, uh, quite low in here, right? We just speculating that the price will go lower, right? That's I don't know what to say, like a low probability, but still for me, it's kind of a discipline, this day trading, which is how would you say, right? In my opinion, not the best way to trade, right? So that's why I risked only two lots on this one, right? So if I lose this one, how much I will lose, right? If I have a 169 in here, right, so my loss would be something like maximum 500, right, which still will be less than 1%, right? And compared as a nothing in if we look into the trades which we did which I did in the past week, right? So past week was, you know, some bigger profits, right? So this 500 on this lower probability trade is a fine risk for me, right? So we will see how it goes, my friends. And I think that I'll probably close the stream in here right now. I'm going to post this setup into our Discord, and we will see how it's gonna end up, right? Maybe we're gonna be right, right? I'm gonna put it here into the community chat, right? So everyone then can discuss our trade from the stream. Let's see how it goes, guys. Right? Remember, everything is just a probability. So we have another 4 minutes. Then I'm going to close the stream, not close the trade. Yes, Ahmed, that's definitely a better decision to wait below the Monday range, right? Below the Monday range, it's always higher probability, right? But we have a probability also we will go there, right? So that's why I took this trade. right? You see now the price is reaching this midpoint, right? And in the fact, what was it here on the 1 hour? No. Um, right, of these two candles, right, which are the order block, once we have closed below them in here, right, we're reaching this midpoint, and we basically do not want to see a price close above it, right? Once it start to close above it, then it will most likely go into our stop loss, right? So we will see how it goes. It's actually gonna be those news in the minute right now, right? So. Okay, so news are probably released. That's why it's a little bit doing the things. All right, guys. Anyway, I must stop the stream in here because I have some other activities today which I cannot miss, right? And we will see how this trade goes, right? So I wish good luck to everyone. Don't take this as a financial advice. Obviously, everyone on their own responsibility, and don't gamble, right? It doesn't mean that you have seen some good past results that we will be winning always, right? So there you go. I see you tomorrow.